So welcome to Dynamic Foundry Group. Today, Dynamic Foundry Group is starting a new concept in this technical talk. We are already doing a lot of new concepts. In previous days, we have been already there to present you various new concepts, new ideas for the Foundryman. And today, another new idea we are talking about is a setup approval. We are going to have a series of this technical talk on setup approvals of various processes, various we can say department, various identities in the foundry. And today we are having setup approval for molding. And for this, we are getting a good support from Mr. Prasad Nazare. He's working as a uh, manager at Bikaner Engineering Works, Jaipur, and he's going to have this particular, we can say, uh, new concept of setup approval. This series will be conducted by him. And in this series, we are going to have first topic, that is setup approval for molding. The basic idea behind starting or looking at this particular series is to understand that when we start any process or any shift or any new tooling, what should be the minimum requirements that should be checked, that should be arrested, any you can say controversy or any abnormalities we have to identify, we have to avoid it, so that whatever quality, whatever productivity we are expecting, the system, the process control which we are expecting can be adequately followed, and will get good quality material, good productivity, and it will help the organization in getting better results and better efficiency as well. So this is the idea. Another idea behind this is this can be used as a tool to your present supervisors. You can use this, you can say setup approval series videos for training your existing supervisors, as well as for the newcomers. You can use it as a induction training as well. So this is what we are thought about bringing this particular new series. And without taking much time, I'm handing over this platform to Mr. Prasad. Prasad, welcome.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Good evening to
Yeah.
all.
Good evening.
Uh, First of all, I would like to thank you, Sandeep sir, for providing the platform and starting the new series with the setup approvals. For the setup approval, I would like to say the only statement is early is the better, is the only key for the foundry. So with early is the better, we will start our session with the setup approvals. So first, what is the setup approval? Basically, it is the pre-production activity to check the availability of required material in required volume and the quality. Secondly, to check and get the real-time awareness of the plant conditions and production plans. Then first sample inspection and assure that everything is okay or everything is set for the production. That is basically the task of the setup approval. So why it is needed? Why there is a need of a setup approval? There are n number of benefits with the setup approval. First is to avoid the loss in respect to time. Then to avoid the loss in the rejections. To get the assurance for the production, as today the trend of the quality assurance, not the quality control. So we have to assure the quality. So with respect to setup approval, we can assure the quality. Then to plan the activities in the proper way in during the shift of the production. Then to observe the changes with respect to control plan and take necessary actions before full production run. What is the significance in the systems? In the IITF 16949, there is arrangement for the job setups at the clause 8.5.1.3. That is the verification of the job setups. In this, they have stated that we should verify the job setups when performed, such as an initial run of a job, material changeover, or job change that requires a new setup. That means when we change the job when we change the material, when we change the tool, when we change the shift, we should do the setup approval. That is assuring the everything is in okay condition for the production. Again, in the system, in the FMEA, this is a general template of the FMEA that we are using during the PFAP. So all the parameters like process functions, potential failure mode, potential effect of failure, severity, occurrence, detection, where this actually setup approval lies. So it lies in the current design control detection, because unless and until we form one of the object, or for this session we can say one of the mold, we could not get whether it is okay or not. So we are detecting that this mold has been made good or not. So setup approval lies at the detection end. Then moving towards typically today's session, that is molding setup approval. What are the activity details? Who should perform that setup approval? The responsibility goes to the molding supervisor. The frequencies, there are some points or some checkpoints we can say at start of each shift. That points or that parameter should be checked at the start of each shift. Then some of the points that should be checked at the every tool change, or we can say every part change. Then what should be the reference value, where he should check, what are the reference values for that specifications. As usual, job-wise molding control plan, or we can say the molding annexure, or we can say the method card, is a reference for this setup approval. Then the record retention is done by the molding supervisor only, and that record should be inspected daily by the production head. Here I have made some of the stages so that we can understand how the molding setup approval should be done. First one is in the title of get awareness for the day. When the molding supervisor comes and take the charge of the shift, first one he should take get awareness for the day. In that, first he should check planning by the production head, what the planning he has to follow. Then specific instructions given by the production head. Sometimes there is a sample, sometimes they are wishing to do some of the changes regarding the processes. So he has to check that instruction given by the production head. Then third one is the instruction given by the last shift supervisor. Sometimes there are the sand variations, material availability issues that are highlighted by the before shift. That instruction should be followed in the next shift. So he should follow the instructions given by the last shift supervisor. Then comes the planning pattern identification. Whichever pattern or whichever part he has to produce, that should be identified with the pattern name and quantity to produce. Then planning pattern inspection. He must see that the pattern he has to work with is inspected and approved by the pattern shop with the green tag. The methodology of inspection and approval is differ with foundry to foundry, but the task is he should know that the pattern is inspected by the pattern shop and it is go ahead for the production. Then as per the lab stated required sand additions given by the lab, we should follow that. Then check the availability. As the material is a key concern, you should check the sand hopper level, then the water tank level, then the cores available with respect to the planning parts and in the stated quantity of the production. Then fresh sand, bentonite, coal compounds, whichever the additives, we should see that the available it should be available in the required quantity. Then the sleeves and the filters with respect to specific jobs, there is availability in the required quantity. Then check the equipments. First, the sand handling system. It should be in a okay working condition. Then the pump workings, then the sand temperature and thermometers, or we can say the sensors. Then dry mixing time, wet mixing time. Here I have taken the ARPA line for the reference, not the HTML, not the manual. So the specification and requirement are as per the My Foundry. You can have the various requirement or specification as per customized foundries. Then pin bush inspection. Pin bush are inspected and replaced with the validation activity. So for every foundry, they have their standard time or standard production run for the pin bush inspection. So only the task of supervisor is he must he must check that it should be inspected within a standard time. Then the pattern pins. Pattern pins should be undamaged, without bend, and as per the gauge acceptance. Then the closing pin, that should be also in undamaged, without bend, and as per the gauge acceptance. Then the air pressure available for the molding, it should be at 6.5 bar minimum. Then the sand additions and properties. This also goes with job to job, but generic, the written sand, percentage, bentonite additions, fresh sand additions, coal compound, GCS, moisture, compactability, and permeability, that are in process sand properties that should be in limits. Then comes with the job specific requirements. First one is the jolting time. It refers to as per method card and or the molding details as it vary with the job to job. Same for the squeezing time. It also comes with the molding details. For example, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, whichever it may be. Then the pneumatic ramming and its time. For cope, we have to do the pneumatic ramming for drag or for both the boxes. And at which time? Then the core and its assembly. Which core is required for this job, at how much quantity, and how it should be assembled. It should be picturized in the molding details or in the method card so that supervisor can get the reference, and he should check the assembled first core is as per that picture, that is core and its assembly. Then sometimes we put on the loose jackets on the molding, that should be highlighted and that should be checked. For example, if there is no jacket, the jacket for only cope box, jacket for the drag box, or we require the loose jackets for cope and drag both. Then comes the sleeve or the sand riser. It is also stated in the molding details, or we can say the method card or control plan. Which sleeve is required, what is the sleeve size, what is the filter type, ceramic filter like or foam filter, then circular filter or square filter, then again filter size, then it comes with the blind sleeve size, blind sleeve quantity. These all parameters are given only in the method card or molding details. The only task is he should check the first mold with respect to these parameters, whether it is happening or not. Then the venting location, one of the crucial point, that venting location, number of vents and its size. It should be reflected in the vent diagram or the method card or the photo in the annexure. He must check the vent size, number of vents and the vent location are as per the stated control plan. Then the mold hardness, first mold hardness. Then mold visual inspection. It should be free from damage, good finish, proper vented, proper sleeve assembly, the screw cutting is proper, then the proper core assembly. The first mold inspection, I have stated many of the points, and of course, foundry to foundry or expert to expert, these points are differs, but the very much analysis can be done, or very much we can say reduce the rejection only with the first mold inspection. For that, the mold inspection done after closing and reopening. What we have to say, first one is a proper matching of the mold surface, whether mold to mold cope and drag surfaces are properly matched. Then we can check proper core gripping in a press, whether the core has scrapped more or whether the core is swelled across the parting or along the parting, that can be identified in proper gripping in a core press. Then the no core crushing. If the core gets swelled across the parting, the core crushing is happening. So we can check the core with the mold inspection. Then no mold crushing. We can check whether there are corners in the molding so that we can produce the fillets that can be identified in a mold crushing. Then no core breakage due to the pressure. Then no core liftings, no sand through the vents, no loose sand through the vents that leads to the sand drop. Then the streamline mold closure. Yes, thanks for that. I would like to say we have the experts, we have the youth energy at the Dynamic Foundry Group. And again, I would like to repeat, कोई भी foundry बेहतर नहीं होती. We have to make it the better day by day. Thank you.
Thank you, Prasad. Thank you very much for the nicely presented, you can set of approval for molding. I just want one or two questions. One is who is responsible for this tool approval process, whether the quality or production?
Sorry, who is
Who is
responsible
responsible for this first approval set of approval process? Either quality person is responsible or production person is responsible.
Definitely the production person, because it is happening with the production. But the parameters are set by the quality.
Okay, it has been controlled by quality, but has to be performed by production
Performed
person
by the
who is
production.
working in the ship as a molding supervisor or molding in charge, whatever designation or whatever post it will be.
Yes.
Okay, and this checklist can be filled up, or this can be a visual, we can say visual checkup, and just we can say just go through the points, or it should be properly maintained with a tick on a paper.
As far as standards say, like IATF, they require the record retention. Firstly.
Pardon?
But as far as standard, that here I would like to show. The point B. This
Maintain documented
stated in item, maintain documented information for the setup personnel.
Okay.
And point E, retain records of a process and product approvals following setup. So as far as IATF concerned, we have to do the documents, but which point or how many points we are taking in a document and how many points we are doing the visuals, it is up to the foundry.
Okay. This point E, I think we are working on setup approval, but this point E is also talking about the last of the part validation. So if I'm running a part, say XYZ hub, and we have taken a setup approval for the first part, we need to, after completion of 100 parts, if our production planning is 100, the 100 part should also got that validated. so that we can say that from first to 100 it remains the same process or same way. There should not be any deviation or anything happen in that.
Yes, we can, but here they have done the or first off or the last off of the path validation.
Okay.
First thing is,
So it is not mandatory.
then not mandatory as far as the standard. But if we do that, for example, I would like to give the example. We are doing some of the molding. Okay, first mold is okay, but during the molding, the vent has been broken. Okay,
Correct.
it is identified in the last part, so we can get at least advance information that the vent is broken somewhere in the production. So we can actually assure the production head that somewhere vent is broken and some of the parts are affected with that. It could not save us our part, but at least we can give information to the production head that something wrong has happened.
Okay, so you can segregate or you can
That is the only
identify those
purpose.
parts separately, and you can do some analysis on that, so that bad
Yes,
path
sure.
cannot be gone to the customer.
Yes, sure.
Okay, thank you, Prasad. I think this is a good initiative by you, and it's a good startup. We can say first part of this series, that is molding. Further, we are going to make many more such. In this series, we have melting, we have core shop, we have many other processes we are going to touch upon with this setup approval methodology. So thank you once again for supporting Dynamic Foundry Group. You have been one of the most active member of the group, and you have been supporting not only Dynamic Foundry Group but the whole Foundry fraternity. For that reason, thank you very much again for your support, your time, and your dedication. And I hope that we'll continue with this series of setup approvals. Maybe next time we'll have melting.
Sure, sure, sure.
Sure. Okay, so thank you once again, and hope that this will going to help all the countrymen quite nice. Thank you.